My name is Taylor Waits. I am a DJ, an activist, an educator, an organizer, an all-around bad bitch. And I'm here to tell you about my Bonnaroo experience, okay? So, what I'm detailing, and the reason why I'm doing this, really, is because as a black queer person, specifically identify as a lesbian, but as a black queer person, going to Bonnaroo for the first time, I had a lot of questions. I've also lost my voice. I am an Aries DJ, and it is my season. I'm filming this during Aries season, so I have no voice. I'm recovering, but it sounds hot. It sounds sexy. So I'm also keeping my laptop light on, even though I don't think that really does anything. But anyway, so yeah, that's who I am. That's why I'm doing this. I just really feel like I convince and try and get people that I love who are usually black and of color, but even people who are queer, who are driving down to Tennessee, especially with the heat that we're getting from the 340 plus bills that specifically target outwardly queer and trans people. It's really important for people to make more videos about whether or not things are safe, about whether or not they feel safe. I also feel that moments like this and any action, anything that requires money is going to have a barrier to it, but especially things that are elitist, like music festivals that are typically meant to be for people who have enough money to travel down, to go, to stay the entire time. And black people, poor people, anybody deserves, a vacation. They deserve to have a good time. They deserve to feel safe, and they deserve to enjoy what it is that they're there to do. So it's really important to me that we document these moments and that we enjoy, what we can when we can. Specifically enjoy, feeling free and being outward and open and enjoying music with others. As a DJ, it's really important to me that the spaces that we curate not only are accommodating, for any type of ability, but with COVID. And I went to Bonnaroo before COVID, so I don't necessarily have an idea as to how it is now. But, with COVID restrictions, with the idea that we're still at the height of getting someone else sick or getting yourself sick, and having these drastic repercussions to COVID, it's becoming more of a hot button topic as to how people are dealing with these things, how we are going to deal with these things as a society, and what I, as an individual, a black queer individual specifically, feel like can be done or things that I can do. So that's why I'm making this video. I really want to just get the truth out there as to how Bonnaroo is from my perspective. I see obviously a lot of these videos from white people, and I think it's important that we have a difference of perspective. I am a graduate student. When I went to Bonnaroo, I was a senior in undergrad. I was starting the process of going no contact with my family, and I went to Bonnaroo because of a girl. A girl invited me to go to Bonnaroo, and I wanted to hang out with her, but I've been to a bunch of music festivals. I've done Free Press Summer Fest. I've gone to ACL a bunch of times. I'm from Houston. I'm from Texas. So I've done a lot of the Texas music festivals. Oh, I'm about to move my lighting because I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's annoying me. But everything I just said. So how I'm going to break this video down is I've already explained to you all why I'm doing this and why it's important for me to talk about it. The other reason that I didn't even mention is because I invited a bunch of black queer people to come to Bonnaroo, and I don't feel like typing a full paragraph in our Instagram group. Instead, I'm going to send them this video, and because I like getting that content, they're going to watch this, and I'm also going to upload this for other black queer people, queer people, marginalized folks who want to go to Bonnaroo. So yeah, without further ado, let's get it together. So, the cost. That's the number one thing of Bonnaroo. How much is this going to cost me? The cheapest tickets, like I said, these numbers were changed because I went in 2019. However, I'm just going to say what it is now because that's how much it's going to be for you to go. I can't go back in time and they're not going to lower the price. So the lowest you can really pay at the beginning when they're the first tier tickets, sometimes they're as low as $275. But right now, with a few, it's from June 15th to June 18th, and right now it is March or April 11th. So about 2 to 3 months out, they're $360. Now they do have a layaway plan, which is what I always go with. Even if I can afford the more expensive tickets, why not just pay on layaway? And the layaway, the down usually is like not even half. Like it's like $25 to put it down. And then they split up your payments from the point in which you paid. Every year I buy tickets at a different time. Last time when she convinced me, Jasmine, who you'll see in the video, she told me, I think like a month before. She was like, yeah, we're going to Bonnaroo. It's really quick. And that explains a lot of my experience as well. Because I just went on a whim and it was very soon. I paid full price. There was no layaway plan at the time. I just dropped all that money. And at the time, I think it was around $200 to $300. So it was pretty expensive for me, especially as an undergraduate student, going no contact with their family, only working. Actually, I had quit my job on campus and I was solely door dashing. So I was making money from DoorDash. I had spent the last of my money on going to these Bonnaroo tickets. And I told Jasmine, like, I will buy these tickets, but I can't put in for anything else. I can't help out with food. I can't help out with amenities. I can barely help out with gas. I'll make sure we get there and back. But the in-between, I don't know. I'm going to have to bum off of people for food. And they were so sweet and nice. They're like, bitch, you're going to eat at minimum. We're going to buy some groceries. If you can help out as you can, obviously we're all for, I went with 3 other people. We drove down with 3 other people and, we were all college students at the time. So none of us had money like that. But, you make it work. So that's the cost. The tickets do go upwards of $9,000. Like if you want the platinum, not 9,000. I don't know why I said that. Of 3,500. I'm looking at the website. It says 999. I don't know why, my brain. But $3,500 is the max of what you'd be paying for like the fanciest of fancy tickets. And that's without like the camping block and anything like that. So that's the cost for the tickets, just straight off bat. Then you have transportation. And for me, I feel like Bonnaroo isn't Bonnaroo unless you do a road trip. I personally think that road tripping is the best way to go. I don't mind a airplane though. I fly basically everywhere else. I've never heard of anybody taking the train because Manchester, Tennessee is like a small town in the middle of Tennessee, about an hour outside of Nashville, more like 45 minutes. So mostly people fly to Nashville and they'll like stay someplace in Nashville and then they'll drive down to Manchester the next day. If you're like us, we literally planned it to the T, 13 hours from Texas to Tennessee, and we planned it. It was around 13 hours. Don't quote me. I don't know how long the trip was. It was several years ago, but by the time we got to Manchester, Tennessee, we had just driven straight there. We didn't stop. We didn't go to a hotel room. We went straight there. And that costs money, gas in several different states. If you get pulled over, if, some other shit happens, your tire breaks or whatever, while you're making it down there, you're going to have to incur all those costs. So I'll put like a roundabout ballpark number on the screen. Boom. So then you have food. Food at Bonnaroo is really good though. They have like 80 different places and trucks and stands all around the grounds for you to eat and drink. So a plethora of food is definitely at your disposal. I also wouldn't say the food was that expensive. I'd say maybe I paid like $10 to $12 per meal. And the reason why I ended up doing that is because the people I went with were pretty adamant that they were like, we can just buy food from Walmart and keep it cold and like cook every day. Obviously, that's not happening. You get to a festival, there are thousands of people. You're not going to be at the campsite at the same time as everybody else. You'd have to kind of tailor your experience to what it is that everyone else is doing if you're sharing food with people, right? So I found out pretty soon. I'll talk more about it, but I found out pretty soon that wasn't going to be helpful to me, that wasn't going to do anything. Roku City's on. I love Roku City. But that would be how much you'd be paying for food. If you're going to pay out of pocket and go to like Walmart, which that Walmart the day before is fucking packed. If you're going to go really buy food the day of in Manchester, Tennessee, good luck to you. Even though the Walmart, they've got it ready, but it's still pretty wild to go and buy stuff the day of. But then you'd be buying like 4 days, 3 days, or 2 days worth of food and supply, right? So that's food. And then you've got like the things that you need to bring, your outfits, where you're going to stay, amenities. What we did is we drove straight there, like I said. So there was no hotel room the night before or like pajamas. What we wore in the car was what we wore all the way until we got to Bonnaroo. We didn't change, we didn't take showers, anything. Then when we got to Bonnaroo, you need a tent, you need a table, drinks, all the stuff that are necessary to like have a fun campsite. And we went in a group. Groups in Bonnaroo are called groups, GROOP. I actually need to sign up for my camping group. It's called Outeroo. And inside of Outeroo, they have this area for women and non-binary people. And I didn't stay there before. I stayed in general camping with like basically everybody. And as a black person, I won't lie, it was very overwhelming being in a basically majority white space. Majority white, like I would say maybe 18 to like 30-year-olds who were all really high and on drugs and just like being white. I say that in the way that like all people of color know that there are well-meaning whites. I call them the WMWs that, you know, aren't going to touch your stuff, or if they do, they'll apologize. You know, they're very nice. They're like, they recognize their privilege and they're able to be like, yeah, I'm not just going to come up in your shit and start touching stuff. But that is not the majority of the people who are going to Bonnaroo. Think of like Woodstock, and Woodstock has this hidden history, or it was outward. It was the white people who attended who were hiding that history of like gang rapes that happened, gang assaults that happened like in public. Freaknik is also another place where that happened a lot. You know, places, not only was sexual assault rampant, but overdoses, people doing lots of drugs, people just coming to Bonnaroo, just like paying for the ticket, kind of like I did, and not really having a plan. And so they're kind of just like bumming it with people that they meet, or people are trying to find a place to stay. General camping in Bonnaroo is definitely like the slums. I definitely felt like it was everybody to themselves. Even if the people were nice, like, you're still going to have them playing music at all times of the day, being drunk, on drugs, walking around, like kind of disturbing you. So I would never stay in general camping again. I would never do that again. I would always go with a group in group camping, and I would stay in a specific Outeroo camp. They obviously have some for differently abled folks, which is just right there by Centeroo, so that you don't really have to go that far. And then they have things like Outeroo. This year it's called something different. It's space themed, even though it kind of was space themed before, but the Outeroo part that deals with women and non-binary people, specific part, they have a sober-roo, so if you're sober, or if you're straight edge, you can sleep there, because like I said, it's lots of drugs, lots of alcohol all around you in general camping. So I would feel like that's really was the biggest letdown, was that I paid, I think it was like my split was 25 and there was like 20 of us all together. Obviously none of us wanted to pay a lot of money to be there. And I would say out of like the 20 people I stayed with, and the majority of them being white, I definitely was the only black person. And Katie, my friend, well, I wasn't the only black person. There were 3 black people. We were the only black people on the trip though. We all came together in the same car. And then we had a Mexican woman with us. So all the people of color were in the same car. They all traveled together, and we were all in this group of like all white people. And like I said, would never do that again. I just, as a black woman, especially as a black queer woman, don't see myself staying with white straight people again. The women were like cool, you know, there's a couple of them that were pretty cool, but most of the time white people just ask me to do things for them. They see black people and they're like, slave. And so they asked me to like roll all their weed for them. Barely got to know my name. But while that was happening, I definitely was stealing like all of their paraphernalia. And I was also taking things from them. So I got my reparations too. But I definitely was just like the mammy rolling up for everybody, which I hated. So I will never do that again. I don't really speak to any of those people anymore. A lot of the people in the videos were like just there. You know, they're not my besties. And the people that I do still talk to, you know, you'll know who those people are and I'll point them out. But for the most part, you know, you got to bring all that stuff that you need, and it really depends on your group. Those people, because they are white and affluent, had tables and chairs and grills and the meat of what we really needed in order to have fun. I brought like fairy lights and like things to hold waters in or whatever, you know, just stuff to add to the decor, but not necessarily like I need to bring all this stuff, right? So then you got to pay for all that. And that's all going to be in your pack list. Everything that you're bringing there, right? So all that is one pack list. And then you have your own personal pack list, right? There's no electricity, so you're going to need a portable charger, several of them. If you're trying to keep food cold, you're going to have to bring something to bring the food cold. It gets really cold at night, so you're going to need a bunch of blankets or a heater, you know, all that stuff. And then your personal effects, like what you need to clean your body, or what you know, some people are like, I'm bringing my skincare, and other people are like, I'm just bringing a t-shirt and jeans. Like, I personally I personally, as y'all will see, I handmade a lot of my outfits just because I didn't have a lot of money, and I was just going to rewear what I already had in my closet, and I was just going to zhuzh it up. Or I went to Rainbow and bought like bikini tops or bracelets to kind of like add to the outfit. But I definitely used a lot of my own money to just like formulate a theme and ideas. If I'm going to go to Bonnaroo, I want it to be based off of stuff. So I picked each day according to the lineup as to like sort of the theme I was going for, and I'll show that to y'all too, so that you can see like how much time and energy I put into my outfits, which is kind of a lot. I definitely put time and energy and money, not a lot of it, but you know what I had, because I wanted to have a good time. Period. You know. So let me talk about my experience on the actual road trip. I love these stupid bitches because it was a